Welcome back to SwitchCorner, and we've made it to volume 20 of our Gems series. Here I keep things simple. I break down 5 games that I love, I tell you why, and then I try to give you an idea of who out there might enjoy them too, so you can either, add them to your library or at least consider adding them to the watch list in the hope of a future sale. Today though is a special one, 20 episodes, it marks 100 games, so thank you all for supporting this series. It really does mean, a lot to me. To celebrate the fact though, I'm going to go a little bit more obvious than normal and choose 5 games that have had me personally hooked over this last few months. So yeah, just games I've been playing recently. So with that luck, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So first up today, Röki. This is a real new one. It's one I intended to cover on the channel, but it kind of suckered me in, and when a game does that, I do tend to play a lot slower. I just kind of enjoy the world, what it has to offer, and this is one that impressed me. I actually ran through the game twice, but I'd say that first playthrough probably took me somewhere in the region of maybe 15 hours. The visuals were initially what attracted me to the game, but it was the narrative that kept me playing. Just really nicely done characters that are developed, and they just have some serious personality. The idea here is this though: you will join Tove on an adventure to save her family from a long forgotten fairy tale forest. Inspired by Scandinavian folklore though, expect a whole cast of characters from those of a human form to monsters, with some friendly, some not so much. This one is mainly a puzzle game. You explore, you solve a puzzle, you progress, but it's got a great feel-good vibe to it all that can be enjoyed by any age, and I can actually see families sitting down playing this one together as much as individuals who just want to get a little lost in a world. I played this mostly handheld, it was perfect for it, but everything here from Polygon Treehouse, the devs, just screams quality. Alright, so with that a little bit more intense now, Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus. I reviewed this one on the channel and it's had quite the ride since launch. Day of release it received a patch after all reviews went live, including mine, and yeah, that patch basically broke the game. Save files they wouldn't load. From what I hear, the game would barely turn on at points, and yeah, it took them about a week to get it resolved. Sadly though, that for sure harmed the launch of this one, and strategy fans, this is a fantastic game that should not be overlooked. I'd easily say as well the best Warhammer experience on the Nintendo Switch. Mechanicus though has a number of elements which I really enjoyed. At its core, it is a small scale turn-based tactical experience. You control individual soldiers, not units, and you'll jump on a small battlefield to dominate. Where Mechanicus separates itself though is the build up to these moments where you will actually choose your next mission from a variety at headquarters. You'll build out your soldiers and their skill sets, and then you'll move to a board where you will choose your movement, what direction you go to make your way to that final battle. These moments, they're almost like D&D influence, where it presents a scenario, a text scenario that is, and then you need to choose your response. Extremely unique and a lot of fun, and it just captures the essence of Warhammer with its story as you take on the role of a tech priest leading the Imperium in a battle against the Necrons. I've really enjoyed this one. I felt for them with the problems at launch, and I hope this one does end up getting the attention it deserves, because let's face it, so many Warhammer games, they just miss the mark. With this one, it's not the cheapest, but a couple of things to know. It's a huge game first of all, has multiple difficulties, but it's also got built-in DLC, and if you prefer to, you can grab a physical copy for around that same price. Astray now, and I gotta say, this slipped under the radar. I caught it a couple of weeks after release, but I nearly missed it, and I'm so glad I didn't. This one also, just looking on YouTube, it hasn't got anywhere near the coverage it deserves. It's both extremely cute, or at least Mo, our lead character is, and then gloriously violent with plenty of bloody scenes and a fair few deaths ahead of you. The story at a high level is this: otherworldly beasts, they invade this world, and you wake up in what can only be described as a scientific laboratory. Unsure of what is happening, you quickly recognize this is not a friendly place. The remaining humans, they've been infected by a parasite that basically turns them into zombies, and they want to kill everything, including you. Get in here though and figure out what the hell is happening, what caused this disaster, and then solve, of course, plenty of puzzles along the way. The best thing this one does, it gives you a little story, but then you can go as deep as you want thanks to collectibles hidden within this world. It is essentially an action platformer which holds for me similarities to Dandara, because you've got Mo here, the blob thing you're seeing on screen, and Mo gains a ton of abilities, but the first one to highlight is the ability to stick to surfaces, hence my reference to Dandara. You're kind of like bouncing all over the place. It just, if anything, feels like a slower paced take on that gameplay mechanic. Here though, then expect to gain more and more abilities as you progress, including the ability to take over enemies and then reading their minds. Do not come here for combat, there rarely is any. It's more about puzzle platforming than anything, but there is some seriously tricky moments and almost stealth as well for good measure. Overall, look, seriously impressed with the gameplay, but the package as a whole, just stunning thanks to the incredible pixel artwork and then the soundtrack as well. Even if you don't buy the game, it's another one I'm going to tell you, check it out anyway. This one seems to be loved by everyone that plays it. Sadly though, not enough people play it, and that's a problem I'm hoping I can go some way to helping fix. Alright, so our penultimate game then, and another turn-based strategy, but Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark. This came as a recommendation on a deals video probably 6 months back now in the comments, and it's probably my favourite recommendation I've received on a video in 2020. I love the turn-based genre, but somehow I completely missed this one, and what a game it is. Story-wise, you'll find yourself in a fantasy world with a hint of steampunk, and you will take control of the Arbiter, Kiri, who is an agent of the Immortal Council. Your role basically maintains stability, peace and order through the land with your band of troops. But this definitely, for a turn-based entry, has a bigger focus on story than most, and it somewhat feels like it's got similarities to Banner Saga, or at least that approach to its formula. It's the content though, 40 story encounters, 20 classes, subclasses, 200 abilities, customization, 240 pieces of equipment. You play through this and you don't see half of what the game has to offer, which is more than enough reason to then go back again. The story though was just really nicely done. I love the visual style, even though I wasn't honestly sure after looking at eShop screenshots. Looks a lot better in action. And then I found the challenge here, to be fair, where it tested me but didn't keep me stuck for too long. It is old school, no question about it, but yeah, fans of this style, you knew the second the trailer started playing in the background if this one was for you. Alright, so my final game this week, Spiritfarer. Picked this one up having no intention to review it, and I enjoyed it so much I ended up dropping a review about 2 weeks after release, purely because it was just so much more than I expected. Right now, this has got to be up there as one of the best games for me of 2020, and it came along just at the perfect time. I wasn't feeling very well, and there's something just incredibly heartwarming about the whole thing that just suited that kind of feel sorry for yourself, take your meds and sit down and play a game handheld, and yeah, could not put it down. And it's a lengthy game too. You can sink well over 20 hours into this with, well yeah, still a lot to go after that. Here though, you play Stella, ferrymaster to the deceased, and the concept is simple. Build your boat, bring spirits aboard, care for them, almost fulfilling last wishes, before then taking them to the afterlife. Where this game excels though is just those characters you meet and the stories they have to tell. Incredible world that doesn't really honestly go anywhere, but everyone you meet you'll want to know everything about, and it's done just a really good job of masking what is a very basic, at its core anyway, resource management experience with some minor building and platforming moments. Here though, expect to explore these islands, meet the locals, and even play in 2-player co-op where the second player takes on the role of Daffodil the cat. I knew the second I saw it the visuals were stunning and the music from the trailer was going to be another level, but I didn't think the gameplay loop would be for me, and I couldn't have been honestly just more wrong. And that is it, volume 20 is down, and thank you all for joining me for this ride. 100 games later, 20 weeks later, crazy to think, and it wouldn't be happening without you all sitting down each week to chill and watch the videos. So again, look, thank you, means a lot to me. With that then, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.